Hey, what's up? I'm Spider-Prime1,
And I am Sammyjack.
and we're here to give our thoughts / review on The Dark Knight Rises.
And this is a practice review, so do not criticize us too much.
And if we decide to delete this, you won't see it anyways.
Watch out, right then.
Right there. So, Dark Knight Rises. What did you... you took me to see this midnight showing. I still have the poster.
Yes, I still do. It's nice.
I need to get that frame. But what were your thoughts after seeing it in the front row, mind you?
We got your, like this?
Yeah, like this.
Yes, lean back. We were in recliners. We weren't recliners.
Batman's face looks a little distorted, don't you think?
And I could see the smug glands on Bane's head, so we had some good thoughts.
His bald head.
I thought it was actually pretty good. I was, like a lot of people have been saying they're taking off of a weird Batman disappearing at the end, how he doesn't just come back.
Well, it's more of the fact of, and I've heard a lot of comic people talk about this, is Batman doesn't quit.
Yeah.
In none of the comics has he ever quit.
Oh,
Nightfall.
Just kidding. Yeah.
Nightfall is freaking proof of that.
Yeah.
Because that's when Bane first showed up and really did break his back.
And he forced himself to stand up.
Well, no, that's not what happened in the comic books.
There was a second one that came tonight. Second Batman?
Yeah, there was... Azrael was the replacement Batman, while Bruce Wayne was really just going through recuperation.
I don't know how you recuperate.
He slipped into a coma for a good 3 or 4 issues. Then he came out of it. Then he was in a wheelchair, and just progressively, issue after issue, would just get a little bit stronger.
He still needed some like equipment or something.
Oh yeah, he had like a back brace and all that stuff.
Yeah, that's not quitting.
And see, that's another thing is, in the movie, what a lot of people don't... Because everybody knows Bane broke the bat. So that's what they think happened in the movie. And then they complain, you can't come back that quick from a broken back, and that's not how you heal it, just sticking the bone back in.
And it was like we said just the other night, it's a dislocated.
Yeah, Bane dislocated his back. He didn't break his back.
Breaking it would be a little hard to throw in a second Batman.
Yeah,
out of nowhere.
Even though that's pretty much what they did at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
But no, in both the comics and for anyone who plays Injustice, when you play Bane and you do the Batbreaker move, he literally grabs the guy and bends him over his knee, so you see the arc of the guy breaking.
And that's from
Nightfall. In the movie, Bane had to struggle even to lift him with these huge muscular arms. He had to struggle to lift him up, and then literally just dropped him over his leg.
And that was just for the fans.
Yeah, well, that was completely fan service. But,
it was a dramatic scene, even though I've never read the drama.
Yeah, I'll let you borrow it sometime.
Yeah.
But... One, the fact of him just dropping him over his knee, and it just so happened to hit his spine. 2, Batman's armor being so thick. Like, in the comics at that time, all he had was Kevlar.
And that doesn't
it was stab-proof and slightly bulletproof. Like a glancing shot would do nothing. But, in the movies, his armor was so damn tough. I think it was like Dark Knight that he's like, yeah, these plates were titanium dipped tri-weave fibers. That's a lot stronger than just Kevlar. So his armor also saved him in that scene. So he didn't really break the bat, he just busted it. And then another thing that I hear a lot of people complaining about for Dark Knight Rises, which I actually sat down and watched the movie again and like paid attention. Like I sat there invested in this, and I hung on every word just so I could understand. The timing in this movie from when Bane takes over Gotham to the end of the movie, where Gotham's set free, the pacing and the explanation of time going by, unless you are literally paying attention, like minute attention, you're going to miss it. The pacing is awful.
Because it takes place within 5 months.
Yes, it's when the reactor is pulled from the bomb, or vice versa, Bane and the scientist guy both say that it's going to take 5 months to explode. And then just after that is when Bane disables Batman and sends him to the prison on the other side of the Earth. Every time they would cut between Gotham City to Batman to Gotham City to Batman, every time you were in Gotham City, they would say how long the bomb had. And if you weren't paying attention to how long the bomb had until it detonated,
It went right over your head.
it went over your head and you figured that Bruce Wayne was only gone for like a week. And Gotham just went through a lot of weird weather changes.
But I mean, even when I was watching it, first time in the movie theater, my head like this and my neck getting sore, I could tell that it was going over the course of the months. It just didn't tell how much was going between each passing, but I could tell, here's day 1, here's day 150.
Mm-hmm.
And Batman, of course, shows up on the last day.
Right. And the one thing that everyone was always saying, and like how it should have ended, Nostalgia Critic and all these other guys that I've seen talk about this, they all ask the question, how did Batman get all the way across to the other side of the Earth so quickly? Well, he didn't. Because the scene before he escapes out of the prison and frees the rest of the prisoners, which was probably a bad idea. I think some of them deserve to be down there.
I think that country is in a little bit of a...
Just a little bit. Whether it's Bane's prison or the government's prison, I think somebody
deserves a little bit of anarchy going down.
Just a little. But before he escaped the prison, when we're in Gotham City, and it's when the CIA agents get hung, they're talking with Morgan Freeman, and they say, how long does the bomb have? And Morgan Freeman says that the bomb's got 23 days left.
So that leaves 22 days.
So that leaves just under a month of time passing. And then we cut to Bruce Wayne escaping the prison and going through his whole psychotic breakdown. With the bats come out of the wall.
Yeah.
Which weren't there. That was just him realizing, oh, this is why I'm Batman. It's because of all the bats and stuff like that.
That was weird. I didn't really catch that.
I didn't either the first time. I was like, bats? What?
Bats? What?
And then he escapes, and then the next scene is some guards bringing in Bruce Wayne, and then he asks Morgan Freeman, how much time does the bomb have? 20 hours. So it took him like 21, 22 days to get there. I would have liked to have seen how he got there.
I know, imagine the money.
Being declared dead, having no money, and
having to have to fly across the ocean.
And getting into Gotham.
Well, he's Batman, he can get into Gotham.
Well, yeah, okay.
He probably stowed away on a ship, if you think about it.
Yeah, but even there were no ships that were allowed to go into Gotham.
He didn't have to go to Gotham.
Well, what I'm saying is in order to get into Gotham, they left one bridge intact, and that was so that they could get supplies across via the army. When he's captured, he's only in civilian clothes.
Yeah, I never really put too much thought of how he got in there.
Yeah.
He's probably had many...
This is where we get into the nitpicking area, but still, that's something that should be recognized.
He got there. He got there in 21 days.
He got there in 21 days. So, still. But, aside from that, I couldn't really find any other problems with this movie.
I thought there was the weird... I think Talia could have been explained a bit more for
non-comic people. That's right. There is another problem I have with
the whole character of Talia for me was a little bit of a mystery.
Well, and it felt like they threw her in at the last minute.
She was, hey, I'm whoever, I'm just a love interest.
I'm Ra's al Ghul's daughter.
But I'm just a love interest for Batman. That's all I am. Which
Talia is Ra's al Ghul's daughter. That's in the comics. She and Bruce she is a love interest. Damian Wayne, the 5th Robin, he's Bruce and Talia's son.
Alright.
So yeah, that was a thing. It's even explored in Arkham City. Which we've never played.
Just like, yeah, guilty.
But, the whole, for the people who read the comic books, the backstory that they gave for the child who escaped the prison is Bane's backstory. Because that's the prison he was born in. That's the prison he escaped from. That's why it's Bane's prison. Because he rules it.
And everybody led it up as Bane was the only one.
Bane is the one who got freed. Bane is the one who's like this. But then they're like, the child of Ra's al Ghul is the one who escaped. I'm like, Bane is not Ra's al Ghul's child. And then they introduce Talia, and it's like, okay, Talia is Ra's al Ghul's child. This is Talia's backstory, not Bane's. No, that's Bane's backstory.
I would
no,
be
it's
just fine
Talia's.
if this was Bane. Just Bane.
Yeah. If they
just threw in Talia.
They did what the original Spider-Man trilogy did. The first movie was Spider-Man vs. Green Goblin. Second movie is Spider-Man vs. Doc Ock. But we have to have that whole subplot of him and Harry Osborn following in the sins of the father. And then the third movie was pretty much
Venom, Sandman.
Just take them out of it. It was a whole, like a third of the movie was basically Spider-Man or Peter Parker versus Harry. You killed my father. He tried to kill me. Shut up, you're lying.
I'm going to burn your half face off.
Yeah, I'm going to throw a bomb at you that you threw at me. And at the beginning, he tried to just talk to Harry, and Harry wouldn't listen. And then when he gets the black suit, he's like, all right, screw you. You took my girlfriend. I'm going to make you pay. I don't care if you trust me or believe me or whatever. I'm pissed. You're going down.
All right.
Batman, the Dark Knight trilogy. Batman Begins. The main villain is Ra's al Ghul. Scarecrow and Mr. Zaz are just thrown in there. Yeah. The main plot is with Ra's al Ghul. The second one, they diverted from it. It was the Joker and Two-Face. That was fine.
It was both of them at the same time.
Right. Dark Knight Rises. We're going to tie this one into Batman Begins somehow. And just throw Bane in.
Here's your figurehead.
Yeah.
The entire movie.
And then it's like, okay, Bane was part of the League of Shadows. How come we didn't see him in the League of Shadows scenes? Oh, he was excommunicated.
Okay.
Why was he excommunicated? Because he reminded Ra's al Ghul of the terrible place that he left his wife to rot in. Weak.
Odd explanation. They could have gone with just Bane's regular backstory. And
and they really didn't need to bring in Talia. She was a shoehorn. She was shoehorned in.
Just to make it...
Because we already had Catwoman and Bane and the return of Scarecrow for the third time. I love Scarecrow.
That Scarecrow was good.
That was a very good Scarecrow. Almost as good as in the animated series, but since he's our only live-action Scarecrow, because they didn't have one in the old movies, that's the best we're going to get for right now. So they did a good job. I like that actor.
Best scene of the whole 5-month Gotham period. Punta.
Yes.
Or death. And
exile or death. We're not walking out on that ice willingly. Death then. By exile.
By exile.
And you, me, and your brother just looked at each other in the theater. We all just leaned together and just whispered, Punta.
If you don't know what Punta is, do not look it up. It's a very odd.
I don't advocate it.
Humor.
I don't advocate it.
You are at your own risk.
If you get the joke, you get the joke. If you don't get the joke, you can look it up if you want to, but I'm warning you.
Our disclaimer has been set.
Right. You may not like what you find.
Now then. What did you think of the whole last scene where Alfred goes to France?
Oh, yes. When earlier in the movie he's like, while you were gone, I would always go on holiday, and I would sit in a cafe and order a drink. By the way, why would you go to a completely different country and waste all that money flying to and from just to order a little drink that's about this big, and it's gone in a sip?
Well, he'd go on holiday.
Well, yeah.
So he's there for holiday.
I know.
While he's in the cafe, he has the drink. And that's when he imagines that he sees Bruce Wayne sitting across
with some woman.
It
just happens to be Catwoman. Wasn't a little specific on that one. And then, just because he talked about it, Batman now feels like or Bruce Wayne feels like he has to go and make that real. He has to fulfill it for him. After making Alfred cry at Bruce Wayne's funeral.
Yes. I was convinced he was dead, and I was willing to accept that whole thing.
I wasn't, because I fall under the group of Batman doesn't quit. Christopher Nolan did. Batman doesn't quit.
They set up the new Batman, and that made me accept Bruce Wayne did.
Well, and that's a whole other thing is they named him Robin.
Yeah.
Which was a joke between Christopher Nolan and Christian Bale.
Yeah.
Because that character pretty much was an amalgamation of Dick Grayson, Jason Todd, Tim Drake, and I think a little bit of Damian Wayne. I'm not completely sure.
Who's the fourth?
The fourth one was a girl.
Oh, right.
And I can't remember her name. Forgive me.
That's right, I remember her name.
No. And she died, but apparently was brought back. That's something I didn't know. So and then Damian Wayne was the fifth Robin.
Okay.
But yeah, he was basically, for the majority, he was Dick Grayson, Jason Todd, and Tim Drake. Dick Grayson in the fact of he's a cop, because after Dick Grayson left Batman, he joined the police force for a little while,
and then became Nightwing.
Well, he became Nightwing while he was still with the Titans.
Okay.
And then Jason Todd, just because he's older, and there's another reason, but I forget what it is. And then Tim Drake, as to where he's really smart, and he put together that Bruce Wayne and Batman were the same person, which is what Tim Drake did after Jason Todd died.
Yeah.
But still, I don't know.
I'd be willing to see a movie of that.
I would too. It's like I'm not looking forward to a movie if they do it that way, but I would still go and see it.
If it were to lead up to Justice League, I would see it.
Yeah, and I've heard that there obviously is going to be a Justice League movie.
But that's not this stuff.
No, but I've heard mixed things of, is Christian Bale going to be Batman in the Justice League? Because Batman is going to be in the Justice League. It's just, is it going to be Christian Bale or is it going to be Joseph Gordon-Levitt? I don't know.
Alright.
I can't think of anything else to say.
That's about all I can think of too. It's a long movie, but it's not that many main parts. There's only a few
little
big parts,
little nitpicky things. So yeah, I'm Spider-Man 1.
And I'm Sammyjack.
And we'll be back with another movie review at some point. Last words?
That was it.
Oh, okay.